Alright, what's up y'all, LakerFan here. As I was about to title today's video, I'm here to introduce you guys to my new 6'2 slasher in NBA 2K24. Now, I know this is a little bit rattling to hear, obviously, right? You would think if I was going to make a small guard slasher, it should be 6'4", 6'3", something like that. But I'm here to show you in today's video the labbing that I did on a build like this as to why we decided on the 6'2", and also just to show you what it looks like. I mean, I think it's going to be a nasty build. I know on paper, you may see it, and you wonder, why in the world did you put some of these ratings to what they are? So I'm here to explain them, and then I'm also going to drop a gameplay tomorrow if you're curious to just see it in action as well as to all these ratings that we have on it. So as you can see, we have the 6'2 with a gigantic wingspan, 6'11". I'm playing hash defense with this as well, even still, so I'm going to be on the wing D, playing fast break offense, you know, leaking on the breaks. I can still play some rebounds on this, believe it or not. You're going to see it in tomorrow's gameplay. I had a game with 5 rebounds, believe it or not, on a 6'2". But anyway, as for the 166 weight, that's to get 45 strength to be able to get the bronze clamps as well. So as you're going to see with the build, it's enough perimeter defense for bronze clamps. I went for the bronze 94 feet as well. Just the last little budget of attribute rating that I had. As far as what this build is supposed to be great at, 90 speed with ball gives you Kyrie Irving dribble style. It's one of the best, not even one of the best. It's the hands down best dribble style in the game. Super brain dead as far as how you can move with it. It's like Michael Jordan dribble style last year. You just sprint to the ball hand. It's as easy as that. It segues into a lot of different moves perfectly as well. And then you combine that with 92 ball handle as well. It's speed booster, unpluckable, all that on gold. Enough acceleration for the things that we need, including the silver blow by and stuff like that. I would have loved to have had more excel. I'm one of the few believers in acceleration in this game, but with all the things that I wanted to get on this build otherwise too, we just had to kind of settle in at 73. Besides that though, 86 speed for that hyperdrive and speed booster. As you can see, hyperdrive a little bit easier to get than speed booster, but anyway, to bring all the ratings back real quick, let's talk about the shooting real quick. Then I'm gonna talk about the main highlight of the build, which is the dunking as well. So I only ended up with 72 midi. Ideally with this build, it's gonna be a lot of threes or dunks. Simple as that. The threat of the three-pointer itself creates the dunk opportunities. The dunk itself is given to give you the best dunk packages in the game, including also, let's talk about why I have 85 vertical. This is for the small contact dunks off one. I actually think it looks like one of the best dunk packages in the game for the contacts, probably rivaling elite contacts off one. And obviously I can't get that on this build because the dunk would have to be 96. And that's what I have on my main builds, right? Like the 610s and stuff. But with this right here, I wanted to not really have to go for that 94 dunk because it's kind of expensive, upgrades your layup and stuff too, so it makes it even more expensive. And all you get with 94 is half slithery. I don't believe in slithery that much, and yes, you miss out on one of the best dunk packages you can get, but that's for typical builds like wings and bigs and stuff like that when you go for that 2-foot elite contact dunk. With this, you don't need to go with that high of a dunk, you just need to have a high vert. So with 85 vert, we have those contacts off one for the small guards. And then again, I already mentioned that 45 strength gives you the bronze clamps. I didn't get fearless finisher. I could have if I went like 55, you know, strength, but I didn't find that to be worth. Now let's talk about some of these etc. ratings and stuff like that you may see, and you're like, why would you upgrade that, Laker? Obviously, but you know, we'll come back to that in a second. I think I said I was going to talk about shooting and I didn't even. So 72 mid-range is what we ended up at. It's just the little budget, and then for the three-pointer it's 86. Now I know that's a little bit low for a small guard, especially even if it were a 6'4". You see a 6'2 with 86 three-pointer, you're a little bit skeptical as well. Well, let me say this much at the very least. I labbed this out. I looked for the jump shots you could get on a build like this as far as a small guard and what you would need for the jump shot. Patty Mills is what you get at starter 3 for the base. It's the best base in the game, period. Super fast, super good height, all that stuff. You combine it with like an Oscar upper, you have a god jump shot, like A+ everywhere. And this is all you need for it, 86 three-pointer. I think technically you could even get it with 85, but 86 for that agent is obviously something I wanted. I know people are a little bit skeptical of the bronze limitless, but remind you, the threat of shooting is just to shoot open. It's about as simple as that. The speed and the dunking ability of this build is enough to get downhill so quickly at a ridiculous rate, and I might even show you guys in the dribble around a little bit what it looks like. I'm saving the gameplay for tomorrow's video just so we're clear, but on top of that, we even still have the passing style for that Halliburton with a really high, good pass accuracy at 89, and even still, fellas, you may even question why put block on a 6'2". Well, it's deeper than just to get blocks, and you'd also like question it too because at a 6'4" and 6'3", I believe you can get chased down, or at least as a 6'4", you definitely can. But you may question what's the point of getting blocked if you're not going to be able to get blocks themselves because you're so small. The thing is, this also helps you get jump contests. I will be the guy to vouch for that because I have builds like a 6'10" that has 42 block but has 90 vertical, and I'm telling you right now, those builds do not jump well, and they don't get jump contests on the perimeter well because of their block being low. With this right here, and after having already played on it now, The block being at 65 makes you get amazing jump contests on the perimeter, as well as the fact that you can still get good jump contests on the paint as well. And being 6'11 wingspan with a 58 interior D, you would absolutely underestimate how well this can play interior defense. You may even see this too. You're like, this is troll, Laker, this is stupid. Well, take a look at it. All right, so if I go down on the minimum for the defensive rebound, like 35, right, and offensive rebound, we'll take it all the way down to the bare minimum. What am I going to get out of this? Well, let me show you. I get one mid-range. What else do I get other than that? One layup. That's it. That's literally it. That is all you get. I get one acceleration, maybe with a little bit of like extra rating somewhere else, you know, like one steal. Boom. That's all you get, bro. One acceleration rating brings me from a 35 defensive rebound and 25 offensive rebound up to a 53 instead of 25. So that's 28 offensive rebound. My bad, I lied. It's 25 offensive rebound. But anyway, went up from 35 D-board to the 63. So that's like another 28 as well. And I mean, that's a lot of motion, fellas. That's a lot of stuff. And you can see we get that bronze rebound chaser off it too with the block rating as well. I have to have it at least 30 because of the vertical. But as you can see, like, let's talk about what it could give me. One three-pointer. I understand, you know, these types of investments could be pretty valid, like to get a couple more mid-range or like to maybe get my, I mean, as you can see, I would love to have gone 80 layup, but this is ridiculously expensive. It's unbelievable how much it costs. But yeah, it could have got me some other stuff. I actually was debating putting post control on the build too because of how ridiculously cheap it is as well. But with the factor of this being a jump contest edition, that would help me in that regard, and also just to play on-ball defense with, I really do think this is a good budget in my opinion. Now, let's talk about why it's 6'2 instead of 6'3. Remember those ratings. Let's compare it to a 6'4 right here. It gets progressively more attribute ratings as you get shorter. Between a 6'4 down to the 6'3, it got a little bit more. Then down to the 6'2, it got a little bit more as well. So compare that to a 6'4. Remind you, I had like, I mean, what ratings here are better? Tell me what are better besides acceleration. I could drop that to 73 just like it was earlier, and let's go ahead and like pump that into stuff that I had beforehand. Look at this. I'm lacking one dunk rating, you know, I'm lacking some more pass accuracy as well, and I'm still lacking the rebounding as well. Go figure though, this is actually still cheap on a build like this. But point being, you get more attribute points. Same with the vertical as well. I wouldn't even be able to get the small guard contacts. I get that to 85. You may even think like, oh, well, the standing dunk and the block were higher on this one than the other. As you can see, these are actually super cheap attribute points as well. I mean, I could take them off and put them to the exact same point of what the 6'2 was, and as you can see, we're still like 5 vertical off. We're still a lot of, you know, offensive rebound off, and the pass accuracy obviously as well, some dunk. I mean, the long story short, the 6'2 gets so many more attribute points than a 6'4 does. And then to bring you over to the 6'3 right here as well, it was quite similar in the same way where it can get a couple more attribute points than the 6'4 could. As you can see, like this one, we ended up with about the same mold as the 6'2. The 6'2 just had a little bit more like edging out as far as like the extra stuff that we could get. So as you can see with the 6'3 right here, we had also like the same dunk still. We had more standing dunk. We had about the same three-pointer and midi. I technically have one less mid-range on this, less free throw as well. And then as you can see, I am lacking the rebounding, but that's not even the main focus of the point here. It's that I didn't even get the perimeter defense in 75. It's extremely expensive in the way of trying to get this, and it's actually 76 for the build that I have, to be fair. And it's just harder to afford stuff like this. And I feel like 1 inch of height at this point, I would rather take the ratings than to be 6'3 versus 6'2. The build plays amazingly big on defense. You'll have to see it. I'm gonna show you guys some gameplay in tomorrow's video. I promise it. It's gonna be a pro-am gameplay, so it would have been a way long video for a build video in my opinion, and I didn't really have too many highlights. I'll show you a couple highlights that I have of it. I only really have one that I clipped, but I've been playing really good on this, just so we're clear. Now, I will say, one thing that I have to get adjusted to is the shooting. That's clear. You know, I'm 0% right now, as you can see. We played against this team that was kind of zoning everything right here. They were playing like a 3-2 and stuff, where they were like, or they were playing sides on their defense right here between the big and the on ball. So as you can see, I like kind of pieced up the sides right here. It was like me using Tonic as a pick and roller. I long run right, bop it back to the left instead. Sorry for that, but bop it back to the left instead because I get that big man stepping up here, but then he wants to go back to the big, but the guy on the left thought to drop. So the thing with me in pick and roll, right? I need to figure out movement and how to maneuver and stuff like that too, but I'm gonna need a big man that's also very cooperative in that sense. So Tonic looked really good right there. We got some stuff that we're gonna have to coach up as well, but as far as what I know how to see, I can see it from the guard's perspective because I know what I want the guards to do as well. So what is most important for me to develop is the stick with this stuff. I need to get good with the movement and chemistry of being able to have someone else that plays big. Because if you guys have played guard, you know how this stuff goes, bro. It's really hard to find a big, I'm most likely assuming that you guys have to deal with, that it's hard to find a big that can cooperate with you in pick and roll, and that's why a lot of people resort to the ISO and 5-out instead, because it's really hard to do. So speaking of improving and getting better and stuff like that, as you can see, I'm in the My League right here working on just the dribble game and stuff like that. I'm working on the LT cancel. I'm trying to learn and stuff like that. So you can see right here, boom, there's one. Boom, there's one as well, and then another one. So I'm working on stuff like this, but I just want you guys to know it's probably gonna be a little bit more of a project, to be fair. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna spawn in and just be a great point guard or anything like that off rip, especially if I don't have the right pieces around me, and I need to, you know, have some 49ers around me to the Brock Purdy, you know, word to the Niners and their God Squad skill positions and stuff like that. But what I'm trying to get at is I'm gonna need a little bit of like helpful pieces around, so we need to center a lineup around it. And to be fair, I don't know if we're gonna be able to play to the competitive level that I'm hoping for with that lineup, because it's a lot of people like getting adjusted to new stuff and new styles, like Tonic being a pick and roller, and you know, AK having to deal with me like not being on the center and stuff like that as well. So it's possible that we still do default back to a little bit of something that's a little bit more similar to the lineup that we've been running, but this is at least something fun for me that I want to try and, you know, lab out and just do and try and see if I can do it well as well. So it may be something that you see more ranked runs and stuff like that. Like, for instance, that's what you're going to see out of the gameplay for tomorrow and stuff. But I just wanted to show you guys some cool stuff of labbing and stuff. Like, I'm labbing out that like hop jumper and stuff. Like right here, I was seeing that I can get this to pop, and then if I do it to the right side of the court, I'm getting this animation to pop sometimes too. It looked kind of glitchy, man. I don't know. I mean, it looks kind of doable with the 5-out. But yeah, let's come back to the build real quick, and like I said, we will have the gameplay tomorrow. I know I'm doing a little bit of a rollout for you guys right here, but there's a lot of stuff to go over. You know, I'm on a new build, I'm on a brand new style. It's a fun kind of rollout for me to like present to you guys. So we're gonna split it up into multiple different videos and stuff. But anyway, this is the build. I think it looks really good. You pair the Silver Agent with the ability to maybe, you know, I'm not gonna lie, in the Gatorade at least, I was fading from 3. I don't know how in the world, and maybe it's just easier to shoot in there. I'm positive that's probably what it is, especially in comparison to Pro-Am. But maybe in the rec it's like possible and stuff too. But anyway, the 93 dunk was a real big threshold point to hit for me. I mean, it's Posterizer, Slithery, and Bunny all upgraded to level. I know 94 would have been nice to get for that Slithery Hoff as well, but it is what it is. 45 standing dunk, you can still do standing dunks. I've seen Joe do it literally, you know, with his build, 6'6" as well, all that stuff. I would love to have got more layup, but it's just it's so expensive on builds like these, and just in general, in total, like it just always is like that. But besides that, obviously, you know, solid defense. I actually will say this build moves around on defense like a maniac. You're going to see that in tomorrow's gameplay too. I actually love the way it plays on defense with the jump contestability, the fact that I can hold my own on it. I can actually rebound. I was sealing box outs. I literally said in the game, I'm like flabbergasted that I can even get these box outs on centers, bro. I'm dropping off the hash and boxing the center in these games. It's crazy. So now, to be fair, like I said, it wasn't the most competitive lineup that we played with, so I need to get like the right squad around this, to be fair to my opportunity as trying to play point guard and see what it can do. But just remind you guys, you know, it's possible that I'm not going to advance enough quickly to be like a competitive point guard per se, enough to the point where I don't just default back to going back to maybe a 6'10" while AK plays on a small guard. So in terms of those who are looking for like the modifications of our lineup and stuff, it's possible that we do just go with like AK on a small guard, keep everybody else on their builds, and I just go hash D instead of him, and he goes to corner D. Simple as that, right? But as far as a full lineup tweak that we could do, we could have Tonic on the center, being the pick and roller. We could have me as the 5-out guard, and we could have AK still as the outside guard, and just buy into the offensive mindset of this and have a lot of options that are hard to find the right matchups for regular traditional Pro-Am teams. Like, only one lock can guard one person, you know? You can't have 2 locks on the court, at least by traditional lineups. I mean, in our lineup, technically we would, but anyway, nonetheless, my point is, most teams have a lock, power forward, center, and then a 2-guard, point guard, you know, easy stuff like that. They have traditional lineups, traditional builds and stuff like that. And this lineup right here that I'm talking about with me on a guard and Tonic on a center would attack that type of a mold. Now, if we're speaking what we're comfortable doing, I'm comfortable on 6'10s. Playing center and pick and roller and an occasional ISO guy is my comfort zone. But I think it's time we, you know, invest in something that's not comfortable. And I'm going to embrace the fact that I'm going to be bad at this initially from the start, especially with the shooting and, you know, setting up in the pick and roll and stuff like that. I'm probably going to lean back to the comfort zone of going 5-out and just do stuff like that, try and rim run over and over again. But I want to really embrace like the idea of trying to get better at this. So we're going to do it slowly. It's not going to be something that I like force us into for a lineup right away or anything like that. But I'm going to be playing on this, you know, from time to time, and it's going to be a build that I really do think is going to be a nice change of pace on the channel as well, for something for me to just lab up and get better at. So I hope y'all enjoy. I will drop the gameplay video tomorrow. Like I said, it's going to be a really fun one. It seems to running like a 3-2 on me, and we had Tonic, like I was coaching him through when to slip on the pick and rolls. I was playing hash defense, got 5 rebounds in that game too. It was fun gameplay. You're going to see it in tomorrow's video. But anyway, if you enjoyed this one, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new to my noties, all that good stuff. And like always, try this one to 1,000 likes. If you made it to the end of the video, put 6-2 in the comments, show support my way through. And I know, like I said, you guys are going to have your question marks on this, but I already explained all the ratings that we upgraded and stuff like that. The O board is maybe questionable, but the D board is fire. I'm going to say that much. And O board, cheap. Anyway, I mean, what was it going to get me? Like 1 steal, as you can see. It's stupid to not upgrade that, in my opinion. But anyway, it'll be a cool build that I could play like 1s with, or 3s, 2s, stuff like that too. I think the fact that I did upgrade rebounding and stuff like that makes it really playable on 1s and 2s. But anyway, we'll see what happens in the future with the build. I'm excited to make it, and I'm excited to keep labbing it and get better. But anyway, that's all for the video. Hope you all enjoyed. And on that, take it easy, man. Peace.